It's the Daily Kebab. Greetings, Muttonistas. Welcome to the Daily Kebab. Now, I'm in a bit of a rush this evening because it's been another heavy day. Apart from having a lot of things to do, we've had another 4-match day today, including Wales playing against Iran in the morning. Then we had Qatar playing against Senegal and Netherlands against Ecuador. I'm in the suburb of Chorlton-cum-Hardy, and as I speak, it's about an hour before the England game, and I don't really want to miss that, and I want to get a seat at the pub. Probably leaving it a bit late as it is, but anyway, that's another matter. So I am going to have a quick kebab. It's been ages since I've had an old-fashioned Anglo doner kebab, so I thought I'd give it a try during my brief stopover back in Manchester, and I've come to one of my favourite places around here called Panicos Kebab shop. Now, regulars can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this place is run by Turkish Cypriots. And of course, the cues say everything. So we started off today with Wales against Iran. And didn't I tell you, Muttonistas, that Iran are not a bad side, and England's victory, well, that tells you something about how well England played. Anyway, Wales had the odd chance, but Iran were the better team throughout, and it did actually look as if they were going to hold out. Although Wayne Hennessy getting sent off for his cavalry charge, which I think at the back of my mind he's done somewhere before, really cost Wales badly. And I'm afraid this ageing midfield ran out of steam. They just ran out of steam, and Joe Allen's sloppy clearance fell smack bang to an Iranian midfielder who really did hit a very powerful clean strike into the bottom corner. The second goal was kind of irrelevant. So Wales did put in a valiant effort, but at the end of the day, too old and just that lack of quality. They could still squeeze through by beating England, but I find that hard to see unless England win tonight and then rest a load of players. Next up was Qatar against Senegal, and I have to say Qatar are possibly the worst team in the tournament, probably the worst hosts I've ever seen playing in such a tournament. They may as well have gone long and lumped it because they tried to play it out of the back, and as soon as they reached not even the halfway line, if they were intercepted by a Senegalese midfielder, they lost possession all the time. Senegal, again, a bit casual. They'll have to step it up against Ecuador, but they got the job done today. I'd guess that these are the two sides who are going out of this group. So 3-1 that ended. I predicted 2-0 close. At least Qatar scored a goal in front of their home supporters. And I'd forgotten to say, of course, I predicted 1-1 Wales against Iran game. And it nearly was a draw. Wales just, obviously, as I said, didn't hang on. Then on to the Netherlands against Ecuador. Now, what an interesting match that was. Ecuador, who hardly concede at all, conceded an early goal, quite a good clean strike, but again the giving away of the ball was a bit unnecessary. But they came back and they looked pretty impressive. I said both sides would be happy with the draw, and that's the way it turned out. And I think I'd say Ecuador edged it and had a great chance where they rattled the bar later on, so not actually a team you want to draw in my opinion. And because I'm going to watch the England game at the pub, I'm going to give you my predictions for tomorrow now. So starting off with Poland against Saudi Arabia, well, I'm predicting another dire attacking performance from Poland, and the Saudis don't come forward too much, and I think they'll be happy with a draw. I'm going to go for 0-0. I honestly think this has got 0-0 written all over it, lest somebody makes a massive defensive blunder. Tunisia against Australia. Well, Australia lost their first game. They need something from this game, and Tunisia aren't bad themselves. They acquitted themselves well in the first game. I don't think this will be too open, so I'm going to go for 1-1 here. Then Argentina against Mexico. Argentina in real trouble after they lost their first game to the Saudis. Well, Mexico didn't pull up any trees in their first match, and I don't think they're going to score in this one either. Argentina under tremendous pressure, but with Messi leading their line, I back them to do the business in this game. I'm going to go for 2-0 to Argentina. And finally, France against Denmark. France, after going behind early in the previous match, looked pretty good, and that's even with Benzema being out of the tournament and Hernandez at fullback being taken off pretty early. I don't see any way Denmark are going to get anything out of this game. They have provided the odd shock though, but they're just not looking the part at the moment. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to France here. Okay, my kebab has arrived here, and it is a good old-fashioned dirty doner. I could have had it in naan or pita, but I fancied pita for a change. Now, I think in Turkey they actually call it doner rather than doner, and most of the meat used, if not all, is beef usually. Here, they use lamb, which is, I guess, a little unusual. So given the rush for the match, I'm not providing you with anything gastronomically that interesting today, but I'm going to get on with it because I want to take you Muttonistas to the pub to sample the atmosphere in partisan surroundings. Okay folks, I'm standing outside the Fletcher pub in Didsbury, popular with beer drinkers and sports watchers alike. Only 20 minutes till kick-off, so I think I might have to stand. Anyway, for those of you watching from abroad, this might give an insight as to what the atmosphere is like at an English pub when England are playing. And if you're in the situation where you're from another country and your team is playing England, well, you can go in. There's no big deal about that. You can even cheer if your side scores. What I wouldn't do is start making nasty remarks about England. Yep, it is absolutely heaving in here. It'll be standing room only. And I won't give you my reaction to everything that goes on in the match. I'll give you a summary afterwards. In the meantime, I'll just show you clips of oohs and ahs if England score, the US score, or there's a near miss or something. And there's no guarantee I'll even get those, but I'll do my best. Well, there we are folks, typical of my luck that it was a pretty bad game. Hope to bring you a bit more than a few ums and ahs, but I'm afraid that's all we got. I suppose a draw's about right. I think if anything the US slightly edged it, probably because of the first half. And this was back to type for Southgate. Dreary, negative football. But I have to say the players look really off the pace, particularly Harry Kane. We were told about an injury worry in the week, then we were all assured that there was no problem, but there clearly was. I think the US played a tactically sound game, got very, very tight and close to the England players, didn't allow them to turn and move the ball, and restricted their passing options. A draw isn't the end of the world, far from it. I mean, it's okay, another draw, and I think we're actually certain to win the group, so we should be able to draw with Wales, but it's a bit of a damp squib after what happened against Iran. And I think there are even scenarios where we could lose and scrape through, but we don't want to go down that avenue. As for the US, I predicted they'd come second in this group, but they now have to beat Iran in their last match to qualify. That will be a tough task for them, but they could well do so. Sorry folks that I sacrificed the food segment to bring you the action and reaction down the pub, but that's the way it goes folks, and at least today's Daily Kebab was a kebab.